What Infinite Crisis has done is taken the multiverse and put it in this insane world where a player comes in and creates their own army, utilizing characters from across these different Earths. And it really brings the concept of the multiverse to, I think, the pinnacle. It's the most epic thing that could ever happen with the multiverse, is that armies from throughout the different parallel Earths are getting together and battling one another.
The technology in games has now reached a point where it can provide a very visceral, immersive experience for someone that's into this kind of content, and allowing you to almost feel like you're a superhero in the game itself. I think it was a huge jump for the medium, and I think that's why people gravitate towards it.
Turbine's been working on games online that bring players together for over a decade now. MOBA felt like the next logical step for us. It kind of got us back to our roots, doing competitive play. AC1 Asheron's Call was all about PvP. In the very beginning of thinking about making this game, we had a few simple but lofty goals. How can we take the DC franchise in a game to a place that it hasn't been before? How can we open up kind of the possibilities there and show players things that maybe they haven't seen before in the DC universe?
The DC universe is great for this game because it really puts no limits on what we can or can't do. In other established sort of stories, there are sort of rules that you don't want to break for the characters. The good guys and bad guys don't mix.
For me personally, DC is kind of the dream setting for this project because one of my favorite characters of all time is Green Lantern. When we work on this game, we actually showed it to people. It is the ultimate example of iconic characters brought to life in ways that are relevant to people, in ways that actually mean something to people, in ways that actually just resonate.
It really gets down to the heart of competitive play. We've been able to hone our engine and everything surrounding it to get to the point where responsiveness is really, really crisp. Players are able to compete at a high level of skill.
One of the things that we introduced was this idea of sort of dynamic destruction of the environment, and a lot of which is, it definitely makes you feel super heroic when Gaslight Batman shoots his, ultimate skill all the way across the map, and you just see it, a trail of destruction as all these mausoleums and things are being shattered. On top of that, there are these catastrophic events that can actually dramatically affect the outcome.
We've been living in this crazy Infinite Crisis world for quite some time now, just amongst ourselves. It's been awesome seeing players get involved and really start taking over this game, and we hope everyone's having as much fun playing it as we've had building it, and we're not done yet. We're just getting started.
Infinite Crisis is kind of my dream project in that it is a world where you can take all the DC heroes you knew and loved, and you can see their twisted reflections, their dark mirrors, their idealized versions, all of them on the same page.
It is the most broad, open-ended set of universes in any comic universe, especially since the introduction of the multiverse and the Elseworlds. There really are very few things that we can imagine and think of that can't be contained inside the DC universe.
Geoff Johns, he's a visionary, and he's also a person who legitimately understands, hey, these are our characters. I'm gonna not only trust you with them, but ask you to do what you need to do in order to make the best possible game that you can make.
I feel like DC has become absolutely integral to just the experience of the game, because without the DC multiverse, this just doesn't work. With what we're trying to do, pushing the characters and telling the same character story in multiple different ways, it's all tied in really well with the existing DC setting.
One of the biggest things that we bring to the table is the recognition that comes with seeing a character that you knew when you were a child. When you take these characters that are larger than life and you put them in a game, seeing Batman, seeing Wonder Woman, these characters are people that resonate with you in a way that really a lot of other characters from most other mobile games cannot.
When we try to interpret a well-known character for the game, we try to find those elements that are iconic. So when you take someone like Green Lantern and his constructs, he can imagine and create anything. we can't have him do that because, well, there's a variety of reasons why that would just be a bad idea for the game and for the feasibility of making him. So we try to find things that are representative of him in his constructs. So he summons a giant jet and throws it at you. And that, of course, represents his sort of backstory as being that test pilot. We're always looking for ways to incorporate DC history and lore into the game in ways that make sense for a competitive environment. And one of the ways that I'm really proud of and what we've done that is through the artifacts. Now, these are the items that players will be acquiring from the Artifact Foundry through the match. These are items that increase the power of their champion, so that makes them better able to deal with the threat at hand. And each of those items is named after an item from DC history. We have Two Faces coin, and we have Atlantean artifacts, things like that. And those items have a history to them. It's the history that, in a sense, gives them their power.
The multiverse is our license to do almost anything we want, and I'm really excited by it. Being able to make a alternate universe version of Superman, specifically one that DC hasn't even explicitly made yet, is very exciting.
What is it that makes superheroes compelling? What is the thing that makes a superhero larger than life? What is a thing that really sells a superhero as being so much more than basically a common man? Really, the catastrophic event system is driven by the concept of we want a world always feeling the impact of these superheroes, always reacting to these superheroes, allows them to do things that basically can clear out entire city neighborhoods as part of their action.
These are, tiny gods walking around. They can punch cars and dent them and things like that. So we wanted the game to reflect that. The destructible environments really help to sell your role as a hero or villain in the world.
Something can happen that can slightly alter it and create these new opportunities for you and for the other players. Nothing is really routine. If I'm playing a super villain or a superhero, I expect things to break all around me. I'm just that powerful. The world around me should constantly be impacted by my fighting with you, because we're both, larger than life. We're both superheroes with a lot of power, and so we need to see that evidenced all over the map.
Catastrophic events are gameplay, and they're things that you can master because you can anticipate them, and we're not going to surprise you with them. You know they're coming, but they look amazing, and they have a big impact on the map. They are things that cause you to rethink your strategy at a certain point. Whole parts of the map might become impassable. Your routes that are really fast before are now, you have to take a longer route around. You want to have some say over how that's happening. You want to drop that rock on your enemy's base and not have them do the same to you.
And as soon as you introduce destruction into it, everything just feels bigger. When you have, Gaslight Batman shoot off his giant bat screen missile and it's tearing across the map and cars are exploding and walls are falling down and everything's responding to it, that feels like a really powerful attack. When Doomsday is, pounding on the ground and bits and pieces are getting thrown everywhere, it gives you a feeling of being powerful.
You're not really a superhero unless you're picking up and throwing a car. When you do make an impact, when you do actually pull off a skill, it feels satisfying, and it really should, give people the sense that, yeah, you're playing a MOBA. It is a strategy, but at the same time, it feels pretty good to kick someone's butt.
Hey, Mike Williams here, IC Rex. I'm standing with Dan Jurgens, creator of some of the most awesome characters in DC history. How is it working with DC and everything like that?
I've been working with DC a long time. I think we have a really good relationship. Works for them, works for me, and that's how it's all supposed to come down.
Awesome. So what went into the mindset for Doomsday when you created him?
We were looking for, at that time, almost all of Superman's villains were very talky guys. And, it's like Lex Luthor, Superman can't exactly punch him out.
Yeah.
Because then the story's over on page 1, right? So we wanted that physical presence, something that was very counter to Superman, a force of nature, a raging beast, something that actually didn't reason with him, but just this unstoppable force that Superman had to try and stop.
Awesome. So in Infinite Crisis, the multiverse is under attack. Everything's colliding together. Supervillains, superheroes are fighting together. How do you think Doomsday would react to pairing up with Superman?
I don't think it would be pairing up with Superman so much as he would just be knocking the jabbers out of anyone around him. If Superman is there and he's fighting the same guy, maybe, but it's not a team up to Doomsday. He's just there to knock stuff down. That's how I see it.
That's pretty awesome. So, without any allegiances in like all the universes, what would the strongest 5-man team, villains, heroes be?
Oh, so we can combine Supermen from various universes and things like that? I really think at that point you almost have to take 5 Supermen from 5 different universes. You might be able to throw Doomsday in because the theory would be this. If you take 4 Supermen and 1 Doomsday, Doomsday is an evolutionary perfect creature, so he is supposed to evolve beyond anything around him.
Yep.
So in theory, if you had Doomsday hanging out with 4 Superman characters, he would eventually surpass them. So I'd go 4 Superman and Doomsday. How's that?
That sounds amazing. So we actually have 3 Supermen in our game. We have a Nightmare Superman.
Okay.
We have a Superman Prime. Then we have Mecha Superman.
Right.
What would be the 4th Superman that you would want to see next?
Oh, man. I think at that point, what we really have to do is go with, you have to find evil Superman. Because you need someone, physically they're all going to say be about the same. So find evil Superman, because if you take away the goodness that is in him, then you've really got a problem. So that's where I would go with it.
You heard it here. Dan saying the strongest team, 4 Superman and 1 Doomsday. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
I see Rex here at San Diego Comic-Con 2014. I'm standing here with
Batgirl, Supergirl, Catwoman,
The Flash.
Red Sun Harley,
Oswald Cobblepot,
Nightwing.
Aquaman. That's so awesome. Can I have you just hit your chest real quick?
Yeah.
You can hear that. He actually made this, right?
Yeah, I did.
So he put it all together. And how long did it take to make your Trident as well?
The Trident was about a month, and then the shirt was about 3 or 4 months.
That's a lot of time. How many Comic-Cons have you been to so far?
This is my 3rd time at San Diego, and I'm from Phoenix. So I go to the Phoenix Comic-Con every year.
That's pretty amazing. So did you make this suit yourself or did you design it? Like, how did you come about getting this suit?
I designed it. It's a sub-dye, so then they printed it, and then I had another buddy make the cast and the helmet, and then I painted it all.
What is this exactly?
This is my championship belt.
Champion of what?
Infinite Crisis and Body Slams.
I don't think so.
Joker killed Bruce Wayne's parents when they were going to see a premiere of what movie?
Of, Zorro.
That is correct. So what made you think of being Red Sun Harley?
I've always done classic Harley, and there's never been like a good Red Sun Harley done, and so I put a bunch of effort into it. My dad's a historian, so we got all the original stuff and made it as accurate as possible.
We got Harley, Classic Harley, and Classic Joker, who are both in our game. And you can play as both of them. Together in a lane together, too. So you mean, like, do you play? You should. You should.
I'm a World War II version of Wonder Woman.
That's pretty awesome. We actually have a costume in our game of Wonder Woman from World War II. She has like a green army helmet. She has like the sword from like the old poster for like the war bonds. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Infinite Crisis, San Diego Comic-Con 2014. Wow! Comic-Con!
My name's Greg Pak. I am writing Action Comics and Batman, Superman for DC. I've been doing it for about a year now, and it's been a blast. A while back, I got a call from Jim Lee, and he said, well, first off, I got a call from Jim Lee. Can you believe that? No, every once in a while you get a call, and your head pops off. He said Batman and Superman, and it's been amazing. So I'm just hugely grateful to everybody at DC who's made, let me play with these wonderful toys. Well, they're both heroes, and they both have the same objective in mind, they are going to do it. If this is the only way to save the world, they are both going to team up with these villains to do it. You know, if you need both heroes and villains in order to get the job done, they're both going to do it. But Superman's going to go in there and he's going to be like, okay, guys, let's do this. He's going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. He does that maybe even to a fault. He'll do that because Superman's invulnerable, right? He can always turn the other cheek. And if he didn't turn the other cheek, if you don't turn the other cheek when you're invulnerable, then you're kind of a big jerk. So he's gonna. I think Superman will go into this more with an open heart, and try to make it work on that level better. I think Batman is going to be a lot more suspicious. I think Batman, because criminals, after all, are a cowardly, superstitious lot. He knows that. He knows all these guys are just looking for an opportunity to stick them in the back, so he's going to stick them in the back first if it comes to that. And he's always going to be, you know, I don't know if this is a good idea, Clark. It doesn't feel right. Can't trust these guys. Don't be a sap. And so he's going to be on edge. But the interesting thing is that when it comes to actually organizing these villains to do something, Batman's going to be better at it than Superman because he understands them better, you know. So in a weird way, he'll end up being a better leader of them than Superman would, I think. You know, that Superman's going to, you know, like if Superman's like, all right, let's do this, save the world, they're going to be like, whatever. But, you know, when Batman tells them to do something, they're going to listen a little more, partly because he's going to, he might kill them. No, Batman doesn't kill, unless you're really bad.
Hey man, I'm Kevin Smith.
And I'm Jason Mewes.
We've been playing games since there have been superhero games. No matter what incarnation of a superhero game that is, they always go for the big guns, right? The iconic characters in their natural incarnations. What's nice about this game is it goes and pulls characters from other parts of the comic book universe. Like DC used to do books a little while ago called Elseworlds, where they would take their very popular characters and put them in different settings. Like Gotham by Gaslight kind of reinvented Batman and put him in the Jack the Ripper type era. So what they're doing is taking those characters and pulling them into the game. Now, you never imagined you could play a game with a steampunk version of Batman. You didn't think you'd ever see that coming. You never think you'd see a version of the game where Wonder Woman is post-apocalyptic or something like that. When I was playing the very basic 8 and 6-bit games of my youth, you didn't dream we'd get to the place where not only can you play Batman, but you can play 6 different versions of Batman. At this point, there's no point in living anymore because that's it. It will get no better. It's all downhill from there. You play a lot of games, man. You're looking forward to being able to play different iterations of your favorite characters, not just Green Lantern, but a Green Lantern that's kind of set in like the knights and jousting days or something like that.
I'm all into, say, the Roman times, right? So to be able to use different weapons and different outfits, if you could change up a character, I mean, why not? It's
what does that even mean? I've always been in the Roman times.
Well, I'm saying that's the style of stuff I like shows like that, I'm saying. So I'm saying if you bring the characters and that would be, you put them in those times, like shields and swords, a Batman with a sword and
Kids, you come over my house. We live in Roman times.
You know, horse.
Face mask type stuff, this kind of thing.
Yes. Spartacus.
I had no idea it's such an appreciation for the Roman times. But that's the beauty of this game. Yes. We could get an entire Roman times universe. I tell you, man, one of the skins I would like to see in the game, Blunt Man and Chronic, or a Fat Man. Just me wearing this jersey and stuff. Make me a skin. What about you?
I think Blunt Man and Chronic is
then we'd be in costumes. People wouldn't necessarily know it was us.
Yeah, we'd give them the utility belt so they can make it.
You want to join us in playing the beta of this game? Look, I'm still doing a joystick as if it's like 1982. Sign up right now, man, and you could maybe be playing this game early with us as we're in beta. Beta is a very technical term, means we get to play it before you. And you might get to play it before a bunch of other fools. Sign up now.
Yeah.
Hey there, I'm James Arnold Taylor, and I play Nightmare Robin in Infinite Crisis. He's Robin, but he's a vampire. His mother, Talia, is using Batman and getting together with him to destroy his grandfather, Ra's al Ghul. And then, by doing that, they create Damian, Nightmare Robin, And the struggle then that he has is just this, my father was overcome with this because of the mess that Talia is putting him through.
The blood of Al Ghul cannot be held by death.
It's a family tree that has just been devoid of any love or attention or anything good.
I thought I was the abomination.
Being able to pull some of this inner struggle and make that dark but heroic, that's always the challenge. That's the thing that we all want to do.
Take your madness elsewhere, Harley Quinn.
I just recently, in my adult life, found out my real father. I had never known him. And found that there was this kind of lie looming within my own life. When I got the script and I look at this character and he's struggling with the frustrations between these parents and the father that he never really could get to know and have, and this grandfather that was this kind of foreboding character, and then his mother who he thought was great but was manipulating him, and was like, I think I can actually relate to this character. There's always a process with it. So you want to go, okay, how much texture, how much depth do I want to give to it? He's not up here. He's not, great Scott's back. You know, I mean, it's down here. And he is, okay, I am never really going to go from here, but I may go insane. But I'm not ever going to be like, hey. And the other cool thing is he talks to Robin.
You have everything that was stolen from me, and you deserve none of it, Drake.
Mom and Dad loved you best. You always got to take the car out, you got to date the pretty girls. I'm sitting back here going, yeah, and I'll do it. And I'm like, I'm ready to just kill somebody now. And mainly you, man. And because that's of course where his aggression's gonna come from. This guy is the picture perfect Robin. And Damian is the brooding, hurt, injured soul.
Always trying to make it look like you did the work, Robin.
There's this great moment with Green Lantern where he says to him,
if it is truly willpower that your ring seeks, where's mine?
Because I'm holding it in at the seams. This is the best I can do because I'm a vampire, and if I go, you're all dead because you're not gonna stop me.
Nightmare Robin compels you to find fresh blood in Infinite Crisis.
Robin, it's crazy the way, this blood was your grandfather's. You gave it to your father, you gave it to me.
Hi, this is Cameron Bowen, and I'm playing Robin.
We executed that plan to perfection.
When I was asked to do this, I was super excited because I love Robin. I really connect with him. I was on a show called Young Justice, and I was on the second season called Young Justice Invasion, where I played the same character, Tim Drake Robin. When it comes to the voice, I try not to change my vocal quality as much as the energy of it. And Robin has a lot of energy.
Crime fighter coming through.
Young Justice Robin was a little less confident, so he sounded maybe a little bit more like this. Everything he said, he was a little bit more unsure. Infinite Crisis Robin is a little bit more domineering, a little bit more confident. When he talks to people, he gives orders, but he's also having a little bit more fun with it.
Haha! Classic dynamic duo, right, Batman?
I really enjoyed the lines talking to Batman and Nightwing, specifically the ones where they betray him, because you don't normally get to play that. He says, Bruce, why?
Tough lesson, Bruce.
The idea that his idol would kill him is just fantastic. This was a very cool experience because really there is no limit. I'm really excited actually to play the game. Robin here. You should play Infinite Crisis. Might be nice for me to have a sidekick.
My name is Tara Strong, and I'm the voice of Harley Quinn.
Let's put the fun in funeral.
I was really familiar with her because I'd been doing the series for years. Alongside of her, I played Batgirl, and so I got to witness Harley in action for probably 10 years before I stepped into those amazing shoes.
Prepare to get hot, pal.
I don't think there's anyone quite like Harley. When I'm doing Raven, she's a lot more low-key than Harley would ever be. When I'm doing Batgirl, she's a lot more cool than Harley would ever be. Harley is a unique entity, and I think it would be challenging to find someone like her. There's certainly a lot of crazy girls, but she's just such a psycho. I don't know. I couldn't pick anyone else that's quite like Harley, which is a good thing.
Come a little closer, and I'll give you a nice big kiss.
The catchphrase I used to get into Harley was,
You'd think after living with Mr. J all this time I'd be used to a little pain.
that always got me right into Harley. She has so many different facets of her personality that you want to attack confidently because she's very confident, but then have that soft side because she's so vulnerable in her love life. So she's such an interesting character that once I'm in it, I just want to make sure that when she's facing situations where she's crying or she's attacking or she's feeling sorry for herself or she's in love with someone, that she's still at the core Harley, which is a pretty crazy core.
We're gonna have so much fun. This is Harley Quinn saying you better play Infinite Crisis or me and my puddin' are gonna come over to your house and smash you in your face. Play the game or my puddin' will get you.
I'm Gray Delisle Griffin, and I do Catwoman. This is my first time today seeing Catwoman. Yeah, it was very different from the Catwoman I've played in previous incarnations of the Batman series, but I like it. When I first started doing the role of Catwoman, I wanted to make her very, like a femme fatale type, like very, I grew up on watching, 40s and 50s movies, and I kind of pictured her kind of in her little dressing gown with the little little furry heels. It's almost like dressing up your brain, like putting on the different. That's why costumes help actors so much but I have to imagine my costumes. Except for in this game, my imagination couldn't even handle it because it was like so many different costumes for her. She finally gets to change her clothes. Not everybody looks good in a cat suit all the time. In this game, I had to do a little bit broader of a character because she's kind of far away and it's from looking over the game, sort of a bird's eye view. I was a little bit more campy and a little bit bigger than I normally am for Catwoman. A lot of times Catwoman has a lot of intimate dialogue. Oh, Batman, just like very, very, but I had to be a little bit more like, oh, Batman, like just a little bit broader. Watch out, I'm on the prowl. Cat got your tongue? I love Catwoman because she's not a villain and she's not a good guy. She's, usually it's really clear cut, but I can't imagine Joker helping Batman. She's one of the only characters I know of that can kind of play both sides.
We have captured Wayne Tower.
Wow. Be a bad kitty, won't you? Sign up and play Infinite Crisis. Meow.
Hi, I'm Michael Dorn, and I play Swamp Thing in Infinite Crisis. Swamp Thing is the scientist Alec Holland, who was working on a process that would feed the world. Thugs break into his laboratory to steal the formula, and in the process they set off an explosion that kills Alec Holland. But in the process of dying, he is reborn as Swamp Thing.
Alec Holland is dead. Now I am the Swamp Thing.
The Swamp Thing is a protector of the green. He is unlike the other characters. He is of the land, he is of the earth. And although he is violent, and although he does go out there and he slices up a bunch of people and uses his ability for violent means, in a lot of ways he is the good guy. He's working for the earth, he's working for the soil, he's working for plants, and he's protecting these things. And that's always noble to me. Swamp Thing, using the power of his environment, is something that is old as time. He has the ability to turn into this warrior king with the wings and a big wooden sword. When I first came in, I was just doing a deep voice, just a regular deep voice. And the way he looked kept popping in my head. He's earthy and gravelly, and everything's not precise, but it works. And so that kind of took me from doing a voice like the Greens will protect you to putting gravel or leaves in my mouth.
You are claimed by the Green.
As powerful as Superman and Green Lantern and all these guys, and yet they still kind of derive all their power from nature. So that means that he is the essence of what all of these other superheroes' powers come from. Superman gets his from the sun, that's nature. To bring this character into this whole thing as a superhero is a very cool nod to the spiritualness of the world.
To be an Avatar is to know sacrifice.
Fight for the Green, gamers, in Infinite Crisis.
My name is Frederick Theodore Posner III, and I play Crypto in Infinite Crisis. Let me paint a portrait of Crypto's story to you. Imagine a loving father, Jor-El, wants his son to have a loyal hound, better than the regular hounds of Krypton. He takes one, performs questionable science upon it, increasing its intelligence and its strength and its loyalty to his son. He gives him with Crypto, the super dog. Just before nap time one day, I was reading Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book. Something ignited in my heart, and I knew that the personification of animals was part of me. So learning the differentiation between a happy bark and a sad bark, in comparison to, happily excited, the voice director was quite strenuous.
Okay, here we go. Next line.
Maybe a laugh. Doing it on calls, it's quite difficult. There's one line that speaks to my soul that Crypto does. I feel as if I know him. I feel as if he's my canine companion. In an effort to get closer to Crypto, I grew this beard out. Sometimes I stroke it at night. Imagine that I am Kal-El's companion, and my hand is his. Are you a bad doggy? Play as Crypto in Infinite Crisis.
That's great, but could you do it in your dog voice for us?
My dog voice?
Hi, I'm Ike Amadi. I'm Atrocitus in Infinite Crisis. Atrocitus is this amazing character in the DC universe that is basically rage personified. Was a normal guy, a psychologist. He was living, a peaceable life with his family, his wife and his kids, and then one day these robots show up and annihilate everybody. And he is only one of 5 that survives. And then out of this, he swears vengeance against those who killed basically everybody he knows and creates this new Lantern Corps called the Red Lantern.
None can stand before me.
Fighting Atrocitus is like opening yourself up to what rage actually feels like. You feel it in your body, your hands, your heart. It hunkers you down because it's a weight that you carry. And so when I was finding the voice for it, it was like putting on like a weight, but at the same time being able to unleash it on anyone at any time.
Watch them struggle against me.
A great example of that is, the line, "Burn, that is your fate," which is like him just all the time raging, ready to destroy anything that's in front of him.
Burn! That is your fate.
The first thing I pull from is actually the image of him. You've got this gigantic hulking guy in this outfit, and you can tell from his face, which is deformed, that he's been through a whole lot. And on top of that, he has the image of a guy who's ready to do something. You put that together with his backstory, and it all comes together in this specific voice and this specific way of dealing with Atrocitus.
There can be no compromise.
So I find out that he throws up on people. Here's this guy whose heart has been replaced by his ring, and so he spews up this plasma as poison, and that's his damage against enemies. And I'm like, whoa, this is serious. it brings this other shade to it because here's this guy who's so angry that he's willing to give up a part of himself to accomplish his task. Feel the rage. Play Infinite Crisis.
My name is Josh Keaton, and I will be voicing Aquaman, the king of the sea. There's something very old school about Aquaman. There's that kind of superhero, dashing, Errol Flynn-ness to him. If he had a sword, you'd see him swashbuckle.
I won't hold back.
He's like an old movie star. But make no mistake, he's not stunt fighting. I mean, this is a guy that can legitimately kick ass.
Like a fish in water.
I love the look of it. I love the fact that there's character building in it. And I really like that they're going to all these different reaches of the DC universe to find and pluck some obscure versions of characters and just give it a cool reimagining. Because he's the king of the freaking sea. This is a guy that could actually make Sharknado happen.
Fear the might of Atlantis.
If you want an Aquaman that you can take seriously, play Infinite Crisis.
Hi guys, I'm Maria Canals-Barrera and I play Hawk Girl on Infinite Crisis. The injustice of my father being unfairly killed by a corrupt cop made me want to work within the system to find justice, so I became a cop. Hawkman gives me all this information that I was an Egyptian princess and that my name is Shayera, and gives me this incredible mace and the flight harness, which gives me those supernatural, amazing abilities, acute eyesight, the ability to fly, incredible strength. She is pretty much a frontline warrior in her own right. There's just no stopping her. I mean, have you seen her thighs? They're enormous. Pure muscle. She's ripped. One of the things that I love about playing Hawkgirl is her sense of right and wrong. She's very clear on it. They can't hide behind the law. When she says, you know, good cop, bad cop, I'm the one with the mace. Like, doesn't matter. You can call me what you want to call me. I'm here to take care of business. When you're doing voice acting, it's just as real and intense and deep as if you were in front of a camera that picks up your face and everything. Time for action! Time for action. You have to make everything come alive with just your voice, and it's a very exciting challenge, and you have to use all of yourself fully, perhaps even more so, because the audience can only hear your voice, and then of course they see the amazing image. There's nowhere left to run. I totally draw upon myself. Betrayals, injustices. I don't lead a superhero life, but when you heighten the stakes and the importance, if you are fighting not just for your kid, but all kids, and I easily tap into pain and rage and betrayal and that sense of justice. It's only a loss if we stop fighting! It's almost kind of fun to get some of that rage out that we all have in those battle scenes. Stay out of my way! Get me into the fray! That was a good fight. Let's start another. And I learned from her. I learned not to hesitate. I learned to be fearless. I learned to be brave. I learned to be courageous. Take care of business as Hawkgirl in Infinite Crisis. When I finish taping, I walk a little taller and my head's a little higher and I'm a little more what?
My name is Mark Rolston. I'm playing Starro in Infinite Crisis. He has the ability to control and manipulate and use people to his own effect. You almost see him on a throne because he's just big and badass. He's almost like the perfect serial killer because he has evil intent, but in his mind, He believes he's doing this for the harmony and good of the world. This character was originated in the Justice League America comics back in 1960, and he only had sort of brief cameo appearances. This is the first time Starro is a playable character. He throws out these parasites that latch onto people's faces, and then they become sort of an instant conduit. So once you're attached, you are intimately controlled by this Zen-like creature. So I saw the visual reference of the character, and as we smoothed it out, we elongated words so that Starro would control things, and you had to get this really deep register.
Your hollow life is ended.
Then when they lay the effects on it, really, it's even bigger. The size of Starro just took on a whole new life.
Not fast enough, Flash.
My favorite line in the game shines a light on just how self-infatuated Starro is with himself.
All will be order. All will be harmony. All will be Starro.
It's pretty nice, right?
Starro commands you to play Infinite Crisis.
Even your mind could not stand against us.
Hi, I'm Kelly Hu, and I am Tatsutoro, better known as Katana in Infinite Crisis. Katana is not just this housewife with a sword. I mean, she really has real abilities. I mean, after she witnesses her husband's death, she becomes an expert in martial arts and sword fighting. She is a real force to be reckoned with. Plus, this sword that she talks to and may or may not contain her husband's actual soul does actually have magical powers. I mean, it glows. It really does have something to it. Oftentimes you think of Japanese girls as being sort of cutesy or soft or subservient, but she is really powerful. And then to find the accent to lay on top of all that power was really kind of hard, because a lot of what was written, "You are a noble man, Dick Grayson," would be hard to understand if you put the full Japanese accent in there. So we had to sort of play around with different degrees of the accent.
Bushiro is realized in the presence of death.
It was kind of a challenge to get that balance with the accents. I mean, and luckily, I studied a little bit of Japanese in high school.
This betrayal is without purpose, Serena.
I think Katana's entire character, her entire persona in this game is encapsulated by this one line.
We will find justice, Maseo.
She is saying this to her husband, who has been killed by his brother, and everything about her is all about finding justice and revenge, and she's not afraid of taking on the Yakuza, the Sword Clan, anybody that comes in her way, because she is empowered by finding vengeance. Honor demands that you play as Katana in Infinite Crisis. This is a chick I am in my dreams, in my own head. I've actually studied Katana, sword fighting, so it was fun to be able to voice this total badass that I have in my head of myself.
Hey, I'm Troy Baker, and I get to play Superman in Infinite Crisis.
This looks like a job for Superman.
I feel that Superman is a really interesting character because on the surface he's flawless. And I think that we as humans naturally search for a flaw. And I think that's one of the disconnections that he has. We have to remember he's an alien.
Earth is my home. I go where I'm needed.
Something that I feel is very interesting is that everybody else, looks normal in our view and then puts on this costume.
This is a job for Superman.
Specifically for Superman, Clark Kent is the costume. And so it's this juxtaposition of who the hero is and what the mask looks like.
Right. Yeah.
Fanfare.
So basically, I'm telling you this so you won't suck because people are going to hear you.
We both know that it's going to happen anyway. So.
And I think it's always interesting that when you're not able to be who you really are, that presents some questions for yourself of who are you really.
You call the lightning and I'll bring the thunder, Shazam.
And again, it's always great to kind of think about this in the back, and then be able to be presented in such a game that has such possibilities.
And Superman has a lot of varying relationships with Bruce.
The brave and the bold, Bruce.
You look at this vast opportunity of, even within just one specific character, how different you can make that character. And I think that Superman represents a quest within all of us of identity. Who are we? Who do we want to be? How do we want to go about this challenge?
Really.
Some knowledge on yours.
I'm Troy Baker, or you might come to know me soon as Superman. Sign up for Infinite Crisis.
I'm Travis Willingham, and I'm playing Mecha Superman in Infinite Crisis. I was first shown artwork of Mecha Superman walking into the studio, and immediately you recognize the size and sort of the bulk and strength that's apparent with the character. And Mecha Superman was created in the Mecha universe, where Clark was a sickly kid and kind of built a friend with Kryptonian technology, maybe a playmate, maybe a protector, but when Clark dies at a very young age, Mecha Superman is left there in his place, kind of with that same childlike wonderment, maybe that youth and pureness that you see in Clark when he's a kid.
Let's establish voice print really quickly.
Finding a voice for a character the very first time is always a merging of the minds. It's just a chance to play make-believe and create something that's never existed before, especially in a character that hasn't really been introduced to the public ever before. As far as I know, Mecha Superman doesn't appear anywhere else except in this game.
Was there another option?
You'll come to the plate with what what you think a great starting point for him is, and then you'll take the input from the directors and the clients, and you'll finally find something that you think really represents the sound for that character that you want. The fact that he's looks like he's built out of massive amounts of farm equipment, that's automatically going to increase the size of the voice. He needs to have a larger register and just kind of boom a bit more. So as tempted as I was to kind of make him sound like this, they won't let me.
I know the drill.
There we go, thank you. We can be better. As an overall note, let's hit.
It's always a process of patience and just figuring out what works best for the character, and until you arrive at that thing that you think hones in and you can kind of lock in and do a certain repetitive way.
Infinite Crisis is here to play. Use me, Mecha Superman, an instrument for good.
Hi, I am India de Beaufort, and I am the voice of Arcane Supergirl in Infinite Crisis. She has a complicated and deep backstory. The Hidden Lords of Krypton were attacked by the forces of Black, and Arcane Supergirl's mother felt that it was unable for any of them to be saved, and so she commanded the Firebird to sweep Arcane Supergirl away to safety, and unfortunately she then witnessed her mother's death. And so she declares revenge against the forces of the Black. She uses the Firebird in order to do that. I sent in my audition after I saw an image of her. I knew what she'd look like. I had this idea of what I thought a powerful, strong woman driven by fire and revenge would be. I kind of just dug into the depths of myself and found some inner fire and ran with that. She maintains her strength, but you don't forget that she is Supergirl. And I think that's a really important part of her character. Fire good, world-ending darkness bad. She has so many great lines. I'm a dork. I really like the more sort of fun, playful, unexpected line.
Kara, to what strange realm do we owe those boots?
And it's kind of jokey and she's messing with her, and I kind of like that, you know, there's that element to her personality.
I must burn away the darkness.
If she wanted to get you to play this game, I think she would probably say, "The Herald of Rao commands you!" And then you'd play. People often ask me when it's just a sound effect, like, or you know, it's pain or kill or joy or whatever it is that weird? Is that a weird thing for you to do? And for me, I think it's actually my favorite part.
I am Nolan North, and I am the Atomic Green Lantern. Every time you're doing a project like this, you know, especially with DC, you find out that there's universes I didn't know. I had no idea that there was this Atomic Green Lantern who's basically been poisoned by radioactivity, you know, and he doesn't look sickly. You know, it's not something that you think he's the thermometer sticking out and a blanket around him. He's, you know, pretty strong, which is an interesting kind of juxtaposition in the character. You know, that somebody who's physically there, but he's ill from the inside out. It's a collaboration, and I think that's one of the great parts of this industry is the producers will get there, the writers, the director, and the actor will all sit there and find out where that voice needs to live.
Maybe it's better like that. I can still do some good.
Maybe it's labored breathing, but
kind of sprinkle in a little bit of labored breathing with like a wheeze.
I won't give up. I won't give up.
Keeping the texture slightly labored, but giving us more voice, more of that strength that I'm overcoming whatever it is that's ailing me.
I can still do some good. This could only end one way. Everything turns to ash.
For me, I like to find some of the intricacies, you know, the smaller things. I think the attention in the characters in the details. The difficulty was, you know, you didn't want it to sound like he's hurt, because, you know, obviously in these games, as you're battling someone, there can be levels of the pain. You know, you start out strong, and then if you're losing, you want to sound weaker. So here's somebody who has to sound weak, but strong at the same time, and then if he's hurt, it's even weaker. So it was an interesting dynamic.
Listen, everyone. You have to come and play Infinite Crisis. Help me. And somebody bring me an inhaler. Because this really is uncomfortable. Go play now! Go play!
Hey everybody, I'm Nolan North, and I am the Atomic Joker in Infinite Crisis.
In a bowl!
I've always been a fan of the Joker, and you know, Mark Hamill's done it so brilliantly, and Troy Baker recently had so much fun with Atomic Green Lantern. I just figured I'd do another Atomic character and bring Joker to life in a different way.
This one looks right. Get him, Gaggy!
He's crazier than he's ever been. He's had a rough go after the explosion. Left him with his head in a jar, hooked up to the big supercomputer. He's taken on his lackey, Gaggy. This was different. This was a chance to keep the zaniness of him, but a little bit of a departure and kind of really put my own little wacky stamp on it.
This was your fault, Gaggy.
Because the character's model is in a fishbowl, they wanted something a little more authentic. So we actually used a glass candy jar, maybe, right up in front of my mouth. The cunning use of props, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta say, it was like a first, that I've never done that before.
This was your fault, Gaggy. Your fault!
And quite frankly, you never realize how bad your breath is until you are yelling into a jar for 2 hours. Brush and floss, kids. And the character's just is hysterical. It's written really well. I think my favorite line has got to be,
"Get your umbrellas because it's uranium." Nothing? I guess I'm bombing.
It's better in the game, I promise.
Remember, kiddies, play Infinite Crisis, or Gaggy will get you! We should work together more often, Joker.
See this thing right here? This is now charges me 10%. But you're worth it.
I'm Natalie Lander, and I play Stargirl in Infinite Crisis. Stargirl is not your typical superhero. She's actually your everyday teenager. Her real name is Courtney Whitmore. One day, she's going through her parents' closet, and she finds this old superhero-looking suit of someone named the Star-Spangled Kid. So Courtney, sort of in a defiant teenager-y sort of way, decides that she's gonna put on this suit. She's super excited about it, and she decides to come up with her superhero name, which is Stargirl. Stargirl's power derives from her cosmic staff, and that gives her the ability to fly. She can also manipulate energy fields, and she can zap people with her cosmic staff, and she can, throw stars at people. Stargirl wears the outfit that Star-Spangled Kid wore. Now, I think she had some serious tailors on hand because it fits her very well. It's red, white, and blue with stars and patriotic and very adorable. My process of developing the characterization of Stargirl was just kind of going back to the time when I remember what it was like being sort of an energetic teenager who enjoys competition and in a fun-loving way. Go team! I thought it was a really cool story because it sort of reminds us that we could all be our own superheroes. It's time to get back in the fight. I think it's really inspiring that Stargirl took on this role and went for it. I'll make you see stars. I think a line that really resonates for me that Stargirl said is totes. Totes! Just shows that, she's an everyday gal and she is super hip with the lingo. And I use the word totes on a daily basis, so. Have fun and blow things up as Stargirl in Infinite Crisis. Although I kind of use the word totes, ironically. I don't really use it. I'm like, totes.
Hi, I'm Laura Bailey. I played Mecha Wonder Woman. She's a robot.
You have defeated an enemy.
Target neutralized.
So she's got this kind of, I want to say Japanese mech influence. She looks awesome, and she looks like Voltron or Transformers or something. So, yeah, it was a really cool character to get to do because she's so different than what I would normally expect from Wonder Woman, but she still upholds the same values.
I am Truth's champion. I am an instrument of peace.
You want to uphold what people expect when they think of Wonder Woman, which is a strong, feminine. I look at the picture and I think about what the character's like, and then I just kind of make a sound, and hopefully they like that, If she's got big boobs, I might make her sound deeper. It's hard because with Wonder Woman, I always want to drift into this very strong, deep place, and we tried to keep it a little bit higher with Mecha. You think about everybody that's played her before and everything you've seen of her in the past, and you kind of make it your own.
Mecha Wonder Woman asks you to shine your light in Infinite Crisis. Of truth, with a lasso.
I'm Steve Bloom. I'm the voice of Lex Luthor in Infinite Crisis. Lex was born in Smallville. He had an abusive father, but he also had this feeling of entitlement. He solved that by killing his own father. Not a normal solution, but it allowed him to take a different path, which led him to Metropolis eventually, and begin a new career there, sort of like somebody else we know. Lex is all about power, and I think the thing that pisses him off more than anything else is that Superman is truly powerful without any aid. He just is. Lex is constantly struggling to become the most powerful entity in his universe. I think it drives him mad.
he doesn't have any superpowers. But through technology, through money, he can create weaponry. He's got suits, he's got tech that he can counteract. And he's created this orbital laser. He can blast huge holes in the earth. He can come after you with anything that you can muster, he can counteract. When I'm developing a character, in my mind anyway, it has to be an organic process. And what I know of Lex is this genius guy with this crazy vision of how he wants humanity to be. And to channel that, I just have to kind of go into a dark place in my head and kind of tuck him back in the throat and start enunciating more than I would normally. And to me, to have that sort of arrogant attitude.
I don't need your help, Kryptonian.
My eyes, I think, shift. My whole personality shifts. My facial structure shifts. I think I lose my hair. It all changes. It feels like it changes on a cellular level.
I am always one step ahead.
So there was this line where Lex says,
"Power is to be exploited."
That really is Lex in a nutshell. He really believes that that is the true essence and the only value of power, which makes him so completely different from Superman. I think Superman really only used his powers when he absolutely had to, and probably begrudgingly from the very beginning. So the difference between them is so clear and makes their conflict so much bigger and bolder when it happens. Lex honestly believes his actions to be for the benefit of mankind, and I think in his megalomania doesn't realize how awful and evil these actions really are. Do you like power? I know you do. Play as Lex Luthor in Infinite Crisis. For him, money is everything. You can create, you can do anything you want with money, and no one can stop me. Yeah, now that's a line that Lex Luthor lives by. He probably was saying that when he was 5 years old in the bathtub to his rubber ducks. You can't stop me. I can. Yes, I can. No one can stop me. I got money, look. Except with a much higher voice, you know.